Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future.
All right, we're getting a meteor. I have no idea where it's going to hit. It could hit something we've built. Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in Waffle County in our rebuild or redevelop series. And if you watched the last episode, we worked on trains. Like these trains right here. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. We're going to actually follow this. We worked on trains, and I am recording this episode right after the last. So if you gave any feedback on the trains, don't worry. I will get to them. 51 passengers. That's amazing. I will get to your feedback in the next part that we build. Also, this house looks awesome. So we're going to build this little area here.
Are issuing a thunderstorm warning.
Days. I think we're going to be okay. We're going to build this area here of Elk District and potentially Pearl Park. But I'm just envisioning having like a decent sized park over here in Pearl Park, and then getting some of this demand for residential down by filling out Elk District a little bit. Before we do too much of that, I do think it's probably worth dealing with this train line, and I think getting it connected up here. So what I think we do, this train comes pretty far out, which is fine, but looking at where the map goes, I think it might make more sense to send this train off the shoreline a bit and bring it along the back of this mountain, and then we can connect up over here somewhere. So I think what we'll do, let's back this all the way up to about here. And before we actually build anything, let's go ahead and smooth this area out. You know what, let's actually make this pretty substantial. I think 330. There we, ooh. Actually, that might have been too much. Hold on. There we go. That's a much better way of dealing with that. Okay, so now the coastline's not gonna get too crazy. And I do plan to kind of do additional work with the terraforming. Someone had suggested connecting this river somehow to this lake, and I think that's a great idea. I just need to take the time to do it. I just haven't done it yet. I might spend some time tomorrow just terraforming the map and kind of getting it into a new spot. So if I end up doing that, we'll have a new map to look at soon enough. I think we're gonna send it as close. I want to kind of bring it here, make sure anarchy's off, and then we're going to send it, I think, straight along to start. It's a little, actually, this angle's, oh, here comes the lightning. This angle is not exactly what we want.
A thunderstorm is battering the city.
Let's actually cut it back.
The storm has passed.
And then let's bring it from here. Where does this end up? If we take this at 180, where does this land with the other line? So right here would kind of bring us right to that corner. I'm not married to any of these streets yet because they're all still pretty new. So you know what? Let's back this up one more time. And let's curve it a little less. So there's this cactus right here. Let's curve on this side of this cactus. It's going to be like our measuring point. And then let's send it straight from here. Where does that bring us? That brings us a bit higher up. Okay. I say we go with it. Let's connect this at the 180 mark. And send this kind of straight on through. And then there's no buses or anything that use this back road. So I say we get rid of these roads for now. We might put them back. But let's get rid of those roads. And then let's try to connect these two into one another. Like, how can I best come off of this? See, that just seems... I know the game thinks that, like, this is an acceptable connection, but, like, if I build this, that just seems entirely too abrupt. But then again, this is external...
A devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available.
All right, we're getting a meteor. I have no idea where it's going to hit. It could hit something we've built. We have yet to build the meteor stuff. We're just gonna hope it doesn't destroy something. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, that's not too bad. We've got a meteor.
A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter.
I think everyone's going to be fine. I think they can avoid the impact site. All right. See, it's one of those things where, like, we don't have any disasters. for 3 episodes, and then all of a sudden we have 500 disasters at once. All right, let's send this. Can we get a 45? Let's do it exactly at a 45-degree angle. This is actually way harder to get than I thought it would be. Did I turn anything off? No. All right, 40. Hold on, 45. There's an even 45-degree angle. That feels a little aggressive, but if the game is going to allow that to happen, then I'm not going to argue. Let's connect these 2 pieces together. That is horrible. So I think better yet, let's completely undo all of that curved piece, and instead we'll send this to here. And maybe we do one long curve from this 45-degree angle portion directly into that existing line. Okay, that's much better. Well, much better, much better. Okay, so now we have this new external facing train line. It can lead into here, which although is nice, we did lose our power lines. Which although is nice, I do also want to have an additional connection from the other direction. Now, did anything else catch on fire from that lightning strike? Aftermath of recent thunderstorm, meteor strike, no casualties, power line destroyed 72 meters, trees on fire 10. But it seems like everything's pretty okay. What's going on over here? Just some abandoned buildings. Okay, we seem okay. I think we really need to work on the worker issue, and so that's why we're kind of focusing on this side of things today, because without more people, our city is going to slowly start dying. So let's go ahead and connect these 2 pieces together. I want to try connecting these just straight on up. Like, turn on anarchy. We'll readjust some of this, but like, what does this look like? Is this a realistic connection? Like, will a train use that? I have no clue. I think the best way to see if this is actually working, let's go ahead and use the traffic routes. Is anybody coming? Any of these angles? Like, if we click here, well, actually, if I click here, I can't even see my own line. People are coming to this train station, and I can see this train station here, but I cannot see the train station coming this route. So I wonder if somehow I did actually mess this up. Here, let's follow this guy. This train line is boarding. What happens when it reaches this intersection? I will need to come back and kind of edit this because it looks a little funky. You're running through a rail. Okay, that's doing just fine. I'm afraid this is not working. Why don't we go ahead? Let's back this up. Let's back this up. If we disconnect those and we check, okay, but it's still not showing any direction. But we know that a train is reaching here. So you know what? I think that we're going to ignore what this is saying because I don't think it's actually showing us if there's an issue. So instead, let's go ahead and curve this into here. Kind of give that more of an intentional bend. And then let's back this piece up. And instead, let's kind of send one like this. There we go. Yeah. This can still move through. Okay. Let's live with this for a little bit, and we're going to see if any trains come in from this direction. So far, I don't think anything is set up to come this way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's broken. And if we scroll out this way, there is an external connection, and there are people waiting, which leads me to think, if you're going to the Summit residence, it leads me to think that I'm just not seeing the route you're taking to get here, but it is working. So I think this will work for now. With all that built, let's go ahead and jump into a quick time lapse, and we're going to build out a road network for both Elk District and Pearl Park. And then we're going to see what we end up with. Okay, here is what we've got to start. We can totally change this if we need to, but what I'm thinking is we now have this train station here, this central train station. I guess this is really the Elk District train station. And the Elk District train station comes on down to the Riverside train station. And what we have is really Elk District is going to end up being filled out with tons of low-rise residential. But then we have Pearl District, which has some houses or maybe even industry or something on this back road to kind of match what's happening here. But then the rest of this is all a park. So we took this whole shoreline and we made it a park. So let's go ahead and hit play. And then let's start laying out, I guess pipes are probably the best place to start. Water and sewage are both looking okay. I'm actually going to delete, I think, all of this line here. And we're just going to relay this down so that we're really covering everything as we should. So let's turn off all these guides. Try to follow the curved road a bit. Send it straight on down this super long stretch of road, which I'm fine with. And then we're going to go right in here. We'll go to both of these cul-de-sacs. And I do see there have been a number of comments recently about different ways to do cul-de-sacs. Thank you guys so much for sharing some of those. There's a reason I do them this way. The only reason I'm using the roundabouts, even though I know it's maybe not the most realistic, is because I can get zoning on all sides. If I do the trick where you add an extra node to the end of a road, so let's just do this now. Like say right here we wanted a roundabout. If I were to take this straight on out, and then in the network multi-tool, I can add an extra node. So right here is like a node here, there's a node here, but I can add a node like right here. So now we have two nodes, you notice these two circles right next to each other. And then I believe, is it node controller? I think. If it's node controller, we can shift it. That's not what I want. Stretch. Yeah, then you can stretch the percentage. And technically, from looks, that absolutely looks more like a roundabout than having a circle roundabout, or cul-de-sac, excuse me. This looks more like a cul-de-sac than having an actual roundabout at the end of a road. But the downside to this is that if I go to zoning, I can only zone along the edge just before this really tiny new node, which means that especially when I'm filling in space in a particular area, all of the part that is in real life where houses would be is just going to be empty. And I could start placing some roads down and doing it that way, but I kind of enjoy letting the zoning kind of figure out what it's going to fit and give a particular look to the game. So for now, I like doing these because I'm able to get houses all the way around, or zoning, I guess, all the way around the back of those, the roundabouts that are functioning like cul-de-sacs. There we go. We got there in the end. All right. So we were laying down some pipes. Let's make sure that all of this gets water, and we might need to readjust our water availability. Did something go offline? This right here went offline because I deleted these buildings. So let's go ahead and just reconnect those back up. So that'll get hopefully get our water back where it was. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and we'll follow this path. I purposely followed the topography lines of the map for this road. It looks a little funky, but I think that's, it's an area that literally butts up into a mountainside. So because we know we're not going to go above that mountain, at least for right now, and I don't really anticipate going over that mountain for the immediate future, I want to kind of use that to guide how our city is being built out. All right, so this one's a little wonky. Hold on. Oh, I can't actually get here. We're just going to send this. I know it's a little bit of a waste of money, but that's okay. It's water pipes. Let's go ahead and actually fill this small bit in, just so everything is covered. There's no zoning there. Okay, so I think we've kind of covered it all. We'll send that straight on through. All of this now has water, sewage, and power. Are we doing okay? Oh, we're doing totally fine on power. Okay. So now let's think about services, I guess. Are we doing okay on trash, actually? Garbage processing. It's actually not too bad. Because this is all going to be a park, I don't want to get too funky with it, but I could see putting a recycling bin or two into this area. We do have the bakery right here, so maybe we put them back this way, or even I wouldn't mind another trash processing plant. I just don't want there to be too much pollution near the bakery. Okay, so maybe we actually hold on this, because the purple, yeah, purple is pollution, and either way the pollution is pretty substantial. Okay, so that's not going to work. Maybe we think about doing, you know what, maybe we take one and put it like out here all by itself. Let's turn on these contour lines again. Yeah, all this is pretty flat, so it's not ideal, but maybe we bring out like a really cheap industry road. I have everything turned off right now, but that's okay. We send this cheap industry road along the side of the rail. So we'll send it straight for a second here, and then we'll go ahead and curve it right on down. And then let's actually turn these guides back on. And I'm just going to send it straight enough that we can fit one. Do we want a trash or a recycling container? No, this is a dump. Landfill. No, I actually think I do want the recycling. And we can also fit 2 of those pretty comfortably. So they are going to need some type of water. I don't think this is going to reach just yet. Oh, and they're going to need power. All right, so we got water. For power, we're going to take a power line right in the middle here. Let's turn off all of our guides. And let's send a power line straight on down along the back side of... That goes right through the road. All right, that's not gonna work. Along the back side of the train line, because the other side is actually gonna have our park in it. So if we sent this, I think right over this part of the road, we send it right along this back side here. Where should we connect up to? I'm thinking we connect up over here. So if we go straight across, straight over, and then straight on down. It's like the least disruptive route. And now looking at this, I do think I want to connect maybe 1 or 2 more pieces in here. If we sent this straight along and down, not terrible. I might actually leave that bit open. I'm trying to also like be willing to let things breathe a bit. I don't necessarily need to fill in every single gap that we have, but let's jump into doing some services. We are gonna we really don't have any. We have 1 clinic over here and 1 over here, but even Concord Hill and like the Edgemont area doesn't have great coverage. Let's place 1 of these clinics kind of here along the train route, but close to this double one-way avenue situation we had started. We'll leave this back edge to itself, and then we'll place another one. Maybe we'll switch the style too, and we'll place 1 over here. Can we fit it in this corner? Yeah, we'll place 1 in here. It's a little bit close to this one here, but it does start to reach down into this portion of Pearl Park. And then we're probably gonna need to think about cemeteries as well, or some kind of, do we have in, what is these, crematoriums? No, we need 18,000. We're not there just yet. So why don't we place a cemetery? We're gonna want it to be pretty flat. We have 1 there, so I don't want it to be totally in line with that. If we turn on a regular, turn off anarchy, I guess, we can place 1 right here pretty nicely. I think that'll cover a decent area. This section here leaves something to be desired, but I don't think there's going to be a ton of people living over here. And then let's also, just for the fun of it, because we've got, 1.5 million, let's place a few of these other services. So we'll place 1 of these childcare centers. Actually, we'll place 2 childcare centers. We'll place 1 over here in Riverside, kind of in some of the areas that we erased before. Maybe right here at the end of this street, as well as a senior center. We'll place that there as well. Now, does that make the road look a little, or the ground look a little crazy? A little bit, but we'll come back and work on this. This house should not be here. I thought I de-zoned all of this, but I guess not. Okay. Any luck with... Yes, there is luck. Okay, we do have trains coming in, going here, and coming this direction, which is awesome. And then if we click on this train line in any other spot, for some reason, we're not seeing the normal route that we should see, but that's okay. As long as it's still running and there's still people queuing up here. 112 service last week. We have a commuter train coming with 24. Okay, great. Let's look at fire. I'm not going to worry too much here about Pearl Park. I do think we need to worry about the Elk District. So let's grab a fire station right off of the main road, but still being able to service the main road. I kind of like the idea. Well, this could, if we did it over here, we could kind of service both, but I really, there's trees over here that I'm most nervous about. So I like the idea of putting it across the street from, I think this was a child care center. It's a decent spot for it. And do we need another watchtower? We have one here. You know what? I think we do. I think we want another watchtower, and maybe we stick it like just behind the cemetery we have. We do have some more trees throughout here, so I think that that's probably worthwhile. And actually, let's stick one more over here in the area that we've designated to be a park, because we're going to have some more trees here as well as we make this, this build out into it's the perfect park we want it to be. I think we need one more of these emergency alert buildings, or what are these called? Short radio masts. We'll place one of those here. And now we can actually afford the large emergency shelter. I do need to go in between parts and actually build out where these evacuation routes are. So we have 3 of them right now, which each of them can only hold 1,000 residents, right? Yeah, 1,000 residents. And then this one here can hold 10,000. So if we build one of these, we'll actually be able to service pretty much everyone who lives in Waffle County at this time. This road here, it's right off of this major avenue. You can kind of come in from 2 different directions. I think that this massive shelter goes right here. And because we already kind of started a little bit of a dense tree area over here, I think we bring some trees in right along the back, and we just fill in this section where the train line is with some trees. This area here, even down the middle, all of this is just a tree buffer, and that's what you get. Kind of hides the train interchange. It also nestles in this large emergency shelter, and I will set up these evacuation routes later on, but that way now everything is covered with the evacuation services, and we actually have enough capacity now to service all the people living here. We do need police. We have a police station here. We have one over here. I think we place one over here and we call it a day. Maybe we place it kind of like close to the high school area, just because we also have all of our businesses here, and that kind of services the edge. So there leaves this like kind of strip in the middle that's not serviced super well, but I think that gives us the best coverage of Elk District and fills in the gaps we had over here in Edgemont. Schools, we're doing okay. We're gonna need more. I think we hold on schools. We'll come back and we'll put schools in later on. Unless we need a high school. No, we're doing fine. We got a high school right here. Maybe we will put one high school. I think this curvy bit, we can place a high school over here, another big one. Ooh, just doesn't fit. Does fit here though. Hold on. Hold the phone. If we anarchied this in here, what is cutting into the road? A freaking hedge again. Why do I feel like that has been the theme of this series, is hedges cutting into places where I don't want to hedge? Let's scoot this back. And let's see if we can make this work. Kind of straighten those 2 out, and then let's pull both of these out. How does that look? That's not terrible. And it doesn't cut too much into the hillside, so I think that's okay. And then parks. And I think that's about what this area really needs. I think that's a pretty decent coverage. This area here, Elk District, it's going to get a really generic park. It's not going to get anything fancy. I think we throw down something that will fit, and then we can worry about building a really nice park in the next part over in Pearl Park. I do want to give a parking lot behind our fire station. And we also had that child care center. I guess it's right here. Where do we put the elder care? Over here. Yeah, there's not going to There's not an easy way to fit one here, and we really don't need it. This whole area is surrounded by parks, so I think that that's fine. So we'll put one here. We'll leave this for now. With this park, once that's finished, I think that'll make some serious impact on this little area that comes out. And luckily, we do have 1, 2, 3 entrances and exits. So this is not actually functioning as a cul-de-sac, which is good. I am tempted, though, to maybe, before we go into placing down any bus routes or anything, I'm tempted just to go right through there and cut right through this whole section. It changes things up a bit, but I think if we were to smooth out this hillside, this gives us space to put in some kind of soccer field or something for the school. If I wanted to fit all this in the same block, I really couldn't. And this road really is, I mean, it's a pretty substantial road. It cuts through a lot. So I say, if I put this here, can this fit right behind it? It can. It absolutely can. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to take this, shimmy that over. We're going to leave a space in between and we'll put another one. And then we're going to move this short radio mast. We'll leave it here, like in this kind of corner area. Nothing else can really go here. And being near like this particular building, this is a pretty low building. The high school, pretty low building. So it could really get the radio waves out to this mast over here and this one over here. Yeah, I think that's perfect. So we'll have these two together. You know what? Let's actually combine these into one larger parking lot. Let's grab the regular concrete path, anarchy this right on through. I know that we're kind of running into some parts of this, and that's okay. We'll send this straight. Let's turn off our contour lines. We're going to send this straight across. And we're going to send another one straight behind the bleachers. Yeah, so all this is pretty connected up. I think we go ahead and connect right into our high school area. And maybe we send one. This needs a little finessing. We send one right along this back edge here. And we send one right along the front edge as well. Just to kind of fill this section out. People are already parking here too, which is nice. We haven't actually zoned anything yet, so let's just quickly go ahead. I'm going to zone everything out and we're going to let it run for a few minutes. All right, so I've gone ahead. I've zoned out a lot of residential and a little bit of commercial, and I left a path right here of unzoned land so that we can expand this train line in the future. We might need to think about kind of readjusting some of the roads or maybe sinking the train line down. I'm not sure yet, but so far, I mean, there's not anyone living here, but as they move in, we'll see how disruptive this train line is, and that'll kind of let us know what we need to do. While this is filling in, actually, before we get too far along, it would make sense to have some kind of connection. I think right here that connects directly to the back side of this train station so people can walk right on in. That's already connected there at the front, and I think that's pretty good. There's not another train station over in this area. I do kind of want to just, you know what, pause. I want to put another train station right over here. It's not perfectly lined up. But I think what we do, we build the train just like so, and then we scoot this whole thing back. And we just drag it back until we're happy with where the line is. That's perfect. That's perfect. Now, what is the line for this? I don't know. I think you could come from here and go to Riverside. You would skip the university one and you could come over here to Heather. And then you'd come back. Actually, you know what? No. It's going to go down here to Heather, and then it's going to come back to Riverside and come back. It's just going to go this way, but in the future, it will start going down this direction. See, we're future planning. Ooh, all right. So we have moved up as a university. We have reached recognized. So we've unlocked some new stuff for our university campus, which is really exciting. I let the game run for about 5 minutes or so. We've only increased our population by about 1,000. In the next part, I do think I want to work on this park right here and just spend some time doing some parklands. Like we've got this whole area here that needs parks. We have this area here, Heather, that needs some parks as well. And then this section here is a little bland. It's not zoned for anything just yet, so I gotta figure out what's gonna happen there. I don't exactly know, but I'm thinking maybe an additional parkland here, or we could figure out what the zoning would be and put some zoning in here as well. But let me know what you guys think of this, this new expansion. I think we've really reached the edge of what we're gonna do here. Now we could one day go up this hill here and start to work up this area, like on top of this hill, but I think that's going to wait until way later. I mean, I'm thinking we start to explore the idea of what our downtown looks like, and as the city begins to grow and we get tired of building high density, we come back and we expand on areas like Pearl Park. But yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions about the train lines. Let me know if you have any suggestions about this new area. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.